So up next, we have our candidates for treasurer. We have Anna, Mester, and Gaby Ramos. So Anna, whenever you're ready.
Okay, hey everybody. My name is Anna Mester, and I want to be UFC's next treasurer so that I can help the board and general members when it comes to finances. I may not be a STEM major, and the last time I took a math class was last year if you want to count macroeconomics, but I'm eager to learn and serve this club in any way I can. I think that treasurer is an important role, and with this position, I want to be able to put funds into things that interest the club and also help those who want to join but may not be able to due to financial situations. Thank you.
Okay. Can everyone hear me? Okay, cool. Last year, I was nominated for this role of being treasurer, but turned it down because I felt like I wasn't ready to take on a huge position yet. A year later, being a lot more comfortable with creating spreadsheets and budgeting money, I believe I'm ready to take on this task. I will ensure that I am fully transparent of where your club dues go to and work diligently with the fundraising officer to ensure that our club is financially stable. I will also be open to all of you, regardless if it is related to my role or not. I hope you all can take my words into consideration and vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you both. So now we'll begin our 2-minute Q&A submission time. All right, so our first question comes from our current treasurer, but unfortunately Arden had to step out early, so Marlon will be giving the question.
Hi, Gabby and Anna. So great job. So the question that Arden has for you is, as a club, we are accommodating to students of different backgrounds and financial needs. Given that we ask members for dues and other fees to participate in certain events, how would you handle an event where a student comes up to you and say they can't pay for a certain fee? I will put this question in the chat too.
Do you want to go first? You want me to go first? Okay. So if someone came up to me and said that they are not financially stable to be able to provide or to be able to pay for this event, I would first ask them if they're comfortable with it, to share reasons why they're not able to pay for it. And if it becomes such a problem that, or it becomes too sensitive, or they don't really want to share it, then I would bring it up to the board as a general topic and see what we could do to make sure that that person can attend our event, because the goal of this club is to make sure that everyone can participate in these events that we hold for everyone.
Yeah, I would say if somebody's coming up to me about their financial status, I'd assume it's pretty serious because people will joke about it. But if someone's actually serious, hey, I really want to go to this and I can't afford it, I think to make the club more inclusive, definitely bringing it up to the board and being hey, do we have the funds for this? And I mean, I would know if we have the funds for it if I was treasurer. But so I would hope that we could come up with the funds and maybe we'd all pitch in as a board to make sure to help them out, because I think what's more important is to make sure that they feel included, and especially if they're reaching out to ask to go to some event, then it's obviously really important to them.
Thank you.
All right, so the next question comes from one of our alumni. How will you make the budgets more understanding and palatable to the board so that they understand where to allocate money? And I'll put it in the chat.
Well, one thing that I found that was particularly helpful when I was on the board 2 years ago was that Liza, as our previous treasurer, she used to make graphs and spreadsheets to just show a visual representation of where our money is going to, and so it makes it easier for those who can't really figure out where the numbers are going to make it understandable to everyone. So I think making those graphs and more visual representations, it would make it easier for everyone to understand.
Yeah, I agree with that. Pie charts are really cute and colorful and really easy to understand where things are going. So I mean, yeah, I agree. Just making it more colorful and simplifying it would definitely help with anybody understanding where the money's going.
Alrighty. And then our next question is another one from our alumni. How will you ensure financial transparency between the officer board and with the general members of UFC? And I'll put it in the chat again.
Okay. Bringing up what I experienced from observing Liza, she would give us reports every time we had an officer meeting, to explain like where our money is going to and how we allocated money. So I think also presenting that report to the general members, maybe for uh, in the emails for like the secretary to send out, or actually during the general meeting if we are given time to. I think giving those reports out would be able to um, show where all of our money is going to and being transparent as possible.
Yeah, I think definitely that's just a part of when like you would give your like brief during the meeting, saying like, oh, like this is what's going on with treasurer, like and just like letting everyone know like how the money's being allocated. And then for the general members, I would say again just like a pie chart, because if everyone can just see like in like big colors like where main things are going, then like I feel like that would like be more soothing and everyone would understand. Like nobody actually, or I don't know if anybody really like specifically wants to know like the exact number amounts, but maybe like there's this total, and then like with that pie chart, it's like how it's being divided, and so then like general members will feel like more at ease with that.
Alrighty, and last question. So, given all the impacts of COVID-19, the cancellation of Barrio, and potential other financial fundraising events that would have occurred during spring quarter, how do you plan to work with the fundraising chair to maintain financial stability?
I think with the fundraising chair, again, I think just doing a lot more fundraising and like planning activities, planning things that people can go to, bake sales, like things that don't necessarily need to take money out of like the pockets of the general members, but like up to the people at SU and like all the students here. So doing more events that would include other clubs or would include just like students in general from all over the school, I think that would be helpful. And then that way we would have more money to spend things on general members and doing things for our club.
I think that one thing that we should do is sustain our relationships with the previous businesses that we have worked with to actually fundraise money, and then work with the fundraising chair to see how much money we spent in the previous year, looking at the transactions and statements that came from that last year, and then creating like a minimum budget of what we can use for this year, and hopefully give a little bit of room for the year to be able to spend. And so having that minimum budget, it would give us a baseline of like how much fundraising we actually need to do and how many events we have to do.
Alrighty, well, that concludes our treasurer position. So thank you both.